Everyone, the next section is solving polynomial equations in factored form. So I have some notes here for you which you can jot down. A polynomial is in factored form when it's written as the product of factors. So you can see standard form versus factored form. And when one side of an equation is a polynomial in factored form, the other side is 0, we could use what's called the zero product property to solve the polynomial equation. The solutions of a polynomial equation are called the roots. And if you remember roots in the last chapter, right, we could say roots, we could say the word solution. The roots are where the function touches the x-axis. We could say roots, solutions, x-intercepts, all of them mean the same thing. So just some more vocabulary you might want to write down. The zero product property says if the product of two real numbers is 0, then at least one of them has to be 0. So in algebra we say if a and b are real numbers and a times b equals 0, then either a is 0 or b is 0. So let's take a look at an example. Here's my first equation. X times the quantity of x plus 8 equals 0. So I have two factors here. I have x and I have x plus 8. Either one of them could equal 0, and that's how I have to find my roots. So what I like to do is set them both up, and you set both factors equal to 0. So on the first one, I don't have to do any work. X is equal to 0. On the second one, I have x plus 8 equals 0. Well, just solve this equation. X equals negative 8. So my roots, or my solutions to this equation, are x equals 0 and x equals negative 8. Those are my x-intercepts, my solutions, my roots, whichever word you choose. Take a look at example number 2. I have two factors, 2t and t minus 4 equals 0. So I'm going to set both of them equal to 0 and solve. If I divide this side by 2, I'm left with t equals 0. And if I add 4 to this equation, I'm left with t equals 4. So my two roots are t equals 0 or 4. Again, sometimes they'll use t, but we know it's the x-intercepts are at 0 and 4. Example number 3, solve this equation. My two factors, I have 3x minus 8 times 3x plus 8. So I'm going to take both factors and set them equal to 0. Okay, these look equivalent, just the signs are different. So we're going to solve them the same. I have to eliminate the constant by doing the inverse. So on this one I'm going to add 8. So I'm left with 3x equals 8. Divide by 3. So my first solution, or my first root, is 8/3. Let's do the second one. I'm going to, let me change the color, minus 8, do the inverse, 3x equals negative 8, divide by 3 on both sides, x is equal to negative 8/3. There are my two roots, or my two solutions to this equation. Okay, again, this is called the zero product property, setting them equal to 0. Let's take a look at what it would look like in a word problem. The arch of a fireplace can be modeled by this equation. Y equals negative 1/9 times the quantity of x plus 18 and x minus 18. So here we have a picture of our fireplace, okay, where x and y are measured in inches. The x represents the floor. So here's your floor. We want to find the arch, or the width of the arch, of this fireplace. So here's where my arch starts. It goes up and around and comes back down. We are finding this width. So ideally, this is a root, and this is a root. I need to find out how far apart are they. How wide is this fireplace? So I'm going to take my equation and set it equal to 0. Because here I have a little note. You're going to use the x coordinates at floor level to find the width, right? Which we just said. So at floor level, y is equal to 0. So we're going to substitute 0 in for y. So I'm just going to take my equation, and instead of y, equal to 0, negative 1/9, x plus 18, and x minus 18. Oops. Now solve for x. So I have 3 factors up here, but negative 1/9 equal to 0 we can't do. So we just actually eliminate that. And I'm left with x plus 18 equals 0. And x, this is a minus, I'm sorry, minus 18. And x minus 18 equals 0. So let's solve both. I'm going to minus 18 here. So my first root is x is equal to negative 18, which means right here, let me erase this, is negative 18. And I'm going to solve the second one. I add 18, so x is equal to positive 18. So my other root is right here at positive 18. So I'm going to write x is equal to negative 18, x is equal to positive 18. So the width of my arch is the distance between these two. So I can do from negative 18 to 0 is 18, and 0 to 18 is another 18. And what's 18 plus 18? 36. So the width of this fireplace is 36 inches using those roots from that equation.